Okay, now on the Trews, as you know, we analyse news today. We're doing it with Blindboy out of the wonderful band Rubberbandits, one of my favourite bands. How do you do? That's how are you? The Institute for Social Research have discovered that how do you do is dying out. There's a thing because young people...
How do you do?
See, it's well done, Blindboy, keeping it alive. People are going, hello. What do you say? You're Irish, you don't even use
What's the crack?
What's the crack? That's taken its place. That's not the same. How do you do? It's sort of a nice thing. We're trying to keep it alive. Don't fall sick in the afternoon. 1 in 4 GP surgeries shut for half a day a week. They're really, at the Daily Mail, is a British newspaper, they really like you to feel worried about the health service.
Or the NHS. Don't UKIP want to get rid of the NHS?
Of course they do.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Do you have NHS in Ireland?
We have, Ireland's a very corrupt country, so we have an attempted NHS.
11 weeks after Lorraine's death, Jagger dares to continue with his life.
What a bastard.
Don't continue, Jagger. Stay frozen in a capsule of grief for eternity.
That's what they want.
Amazon Miedson, lost 3 lions tribe. Now what this seems to be is the son have gone into the Amazon jungle, found a lost tribe, and trivialised them by making them put on an England shirt. What do you think about that?
Do you know the first thing that came into my head when I saw this just there as you showed it to me?
Yeah, you saw it. What happened?
The story that came into my head was, this is a tribe who the last time they heard about the World Cup, it was 1966 when England won, and now they found them and they still think England are the perpetual champions of the World Cup.
And they sort of worship, like they think Bobby Moore is a god.
Oh yeah!
This guy, I mean, what's his conception of the universe? He lives in harmony with nature, is probably involved in shamanistic rituals of using mystical plants, has an understanding of oneness, simplicity. I mean, the way they live is harmonised with the world, they don't damage things, they don't use different resources. How could this man can have no conception of how he's being rendered now? And on the very next page is like this girl. I mean, that in his village, that'd be alright. That's probably our...
Probably be normal, yeah.
That's normal in her village. She'd adjust to life in the Amazon in about an hour.
That's a nice juxtaposition, actually, Russell.
Go on, I love a juxtaposition.
Because they don't have the shame of the body that we have. I mean, I'm assuming women walk with their tits out, wouldn't they?
I'm assuming that as well.
But we, however, love boobies because we have placed shame on top of them with clothes. So therefore, when you expose them, it's like, oh, boobs, you don't see them on the street.
You don't see them on the street. So what we've done is we've replaced an erogenous veil over nature. We've eroticised something. Oh, hold on a minute, there's more of them. We visited the type... Go on, mate, what was you going to say?
They found a Brazilian tribe and then said to them, please support another nation, not your own.
Yeah.
That's not very fair, is it?
I suppose to them, they may not think in terms of nation, because I mean, nation in a way is an abstract idea to them. They probably have an identity that's based on the reality of their lives.
Maybe, yeah, that's true.
If we go, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be in the Mattis tribe, but presumably they went, oh, we got this thing called England. It's a country surrounded by water. We've been quite imperialist and colonial. Now we've filled it down really just basically to underperforming in football tournaments. Would you mind casting a spell? They probably weren't really listening to what you were saying just then, but you seemed pleasant enough, and I appreciate the shirts. Yes, we'll do it.
Or they could have gone, if they did know a bit about the history, it's like, oh, those bold white men that came over, that wasn't us, that was the Spanish and the Portuguese. The British are lovely people.
We never colonised anywhere. We were trying to stop the Spanish and Portuguese from colonising South America. Yeah. We're a nice bunch of guys. After seeing our England footy shirts, they instantly fell in love with the lions on our badge and vowed to back our boys in the World Cup. It's interesting because it's simultaneously pretending to be respectful but absolutely patronising.
It's completely patronising because I think the way it works as well is what they're trying to do is look at these uncultured louts. Let's put our culture on them. Isn't that juxtaposition so funny? They don't know what football is. So there's the assumption that of all this ignorance.
Yeah, it's like a cultural imperialism, isn't it? It's so this is sort of
well, they've branded them. Do you put a shirt on somebody, you're branding them with their 3 lines. They don't know what a line is. There's no lines in South America.
There's no lines.
They've got pumas.
They love a puma, or maybe they don't like them. Because, I mean, I
wouldn't like pumas if I was living as an indigenous man, because a puma would be somebody who's going to kill me.
Like, I'm getting a lot of my knowledge from the Mel Gibson film Apocalypso.
Oh, that's a good film.
Bloody good film, isn't it?
Fucking very good.
I really heartily recommend it.
Yeah.
Because, like, he really captures the idea of what it's like to live an indigenous life in the South American jungle. And in that, the jaguar is a bit of a bastard.
He is a bastard, yeah. What's
interesting about Mel Gibson is he's obviously a really talented man, but he loves to have a pint, doesn't he? And then he loses control of himself.
He's actually my third cousin removed, I heard.
Get lost.
I swear to God.
How can that be?
His grandmother and my grandmother were sisters or something like that. My
You've
ma
made a lot of
explained to me.
claims since you've been here. One of the claims you made before the Trews began was the claim that the Irish people invented Jamaica.
No, the story goes is that the Jamaican accent comes from the Southern Irish accent, because in British people in particular won't know this fact. In the 1600s, 50,000 Irish men, women and children were sent to the Caribbean as slaves.
We wouldn't have done that.
Yes, you did.
No,
And do you know why you did it? Because, as you were saying
thought it
earlier,
was kind.
the British did not colonise South America except the Caribbean. And as well, the British weren't very good at colonising Africa. So the only slaves the chattel slaves that the British had were Irish people. So Oliver Cromwell sent the Irish people to the Caribbean at the same time that African slaves were coming there. So it was basically, get out of your land, we're putting rich Protestant English people here, and go to Barbados to work on the sugarcane factories.
I've all done the British in them days, always doing things like playing chess with the world. We're putting these white people in where the black people are. We're going to put the black people where the white people are. Checkmate!
That's the way it was. And I think you could make an argument that what Hitler did, even though it was terrible, he kind of stopped all that. What Hitler did was so disgusting, it made the entire world realise that conquering is this really ugly, ugly thing.
Well, up until then, Hitler sort of was someone... he's someone that just tipped over the Monopoly board.
He tipped over the Monopoly board and he spilled too much blood, and everyone had to look at it and go, oh, this stuff is really bad.
Whoa,
so
Hitler, you're too bloody good at this. Actually, we've all been doing this a bit, but not as good as you. Right, yeah, let's stop it.
That's it. That was all Adolf there, yeah.
That is some truth. How do?
Nose is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the nose. If the nose was true, I want some trews. Let's have some trews.